which just means pilgrimage. And it is an obligation on every man and woman to make this pilgrimage one time in their life. But it's a Hajj season, so it's not like you go anytime. If you go anytime, it's called Umrah. But the Hajj, the obligation is to go, there's a particular season, right? In Mecca, it's the Kaaba. The Kaaba looks like it's considered the house of God, not in the way that anyone thinks God is inside, but that it is the house of God, right? And it is something maybe about as big as this room, and it's black. It's super simple. Like there's nothing, there's no architectural, there's nothing about it. It's just this square house, this cube. It's draped in black. When you come, you walk around it. This is one of the rites of the Hajj. You make tawaf, you walk around it. And so there's Mecca, the holiest place. The holiest place in Mecca is the Kaaba. The holiest part of the Kaaba is the black stone. And it is in the corner of the Kaaba, and it is in this like silver, what would you call it? Yeah, you hear it, right? Yeah, right? And inside is a stone, but the stone is like this big. It's like as big as like my head, right? And I have a big head. So it's maybe even bigger. So it's like, it's not like a rock like this. It's literally on the corner of the Kaaba. For anyone that has been on the Hajj, it is the most coveted in this whole city. It is probably the most coveted 12 inches of this whole city. So it is the intensity at that place, because so many people are trying to get there, it can almost be violent, but no one's trying to harm anyone. Everyone is almost, they are enthralled. It is like a man that has been overcome by love. His senses have been overcome. So the engagement actually at the Black Stone is a very intense one, but it's intense, but it is love beyond reason. And even in the way I'm describing it now, you can see how it can be akin to like a sexual, sensual, romantic experience. So this one rite of the Hajj, and so, okay, because there's another part of this poem that, so the Kaaba, square, right, cube. Then there's a white, which ironically, appropriately looks like a rib. And this is called Hagar's skirt. This is the wife of Abraham. Hagar's skirt, the mother of Ishmael. How do you say it in English? Ishmael. What, you say so? Yeah, Ishmael, right? So that's called the skirt of Hagar. Any more questions, comments, concerns? This is my last poem. Oh, yes.
I just wanted to ask you about your place in poetry, and you mentioned you had but you do pieces of
Now, my poetry, I mean, my brothers aren't any good at poetry, so I never involved in anything. But my younger brother is actually very good with music. So my next album, The Meccan Openings, this album is all produced by him. And my older brother, he like manages. He's better at like making sure I don't waste all my money and stuff like that. So, but poetry, no. I'm good. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tell you the story of that. About when I do that, I'm going to go right into the poem. Are there other questions, comments, or concerns? I'm going to answer them from my very last poem. When I say I'm going to do my last poem, that's important. You're supposed to go like, oh, already? I have to do it, I'm sorry. I have to stop sometime. Okay, so the story of danger. All right, so when they invite me to Deaf Poetry, when they invite anyone to Deaf Poetry, they invite you up, you come to New York, and you're in Times Square, and it's all exciting and everything, and you're a poet, and you're gonna be on the Russell Simmons show and all of that, right? So they ask you to prepare 2 poems. They'll take one of the 2 poems to air, or some people, they don't air at all. So you just do your poems, so they don't like either one of them, and you just go home disappointed, cry. So, So they would like this poem I have called Eve Amongst Beasts, which is another poem I don't remember, but what I do remember about the poem is, you know, it was like about a guy and a girl, and it wasn't really a love poem. It was a good poem. I liked the poem. I wrote the poem. But I was thinking, if I have 2 minutes on TV for the first time, is that what I want to do? And it wasn't really what I wanted to do. So I was like, you know, but every time I talk to the producer on the show, oh, I love this poem, I listen to this poem in the car, I love this poem, can't wait for you to do this poem, and no one started telling me that's the poem she wants me to do. So I'm thinking, well, I kind of want to do this poem Danger, but I don't tell her I want to do Danger. And this is in 2003 or 4, so this is the time in America where, I mean, it's very different than the time we're in now in America. Like, it was like people still like thought Bush was telling the truth and stuff like that. It was like a really, like his approval rating was through the roof at that time. Like, so you can understand what America I'm talking about, right? The very different time. So, and on the show, Amir Baraka, one of the greatest American poets, the poet laureate, in fact, and a great contributor to the Black Arts Movement of the 60s, as well as the last poets, on 2 different occasions, they had done poems on the show, and they got censored, they didn't get aired. To not air Amir Baraka and the Last Poets on a poetry show is like having a reggae fest and saying Bob Marley can't come.